In previous episode, we created this simple form which allow us to define recipients, the subject and the body of our message. And this is still a dummy screen. Nothing really happens when we click send button. To build this form, we used TextFormField widget, which is one of the most basic widgets available. However, Flutter provides some other widget called TextFormField for convenience and for more idiomatic way of writing your code. And we will discuss this widget in this episode. Idiomatic means that it's a more natural way of writing forms. The TextFormField widget also comes with some additional features. One of them is validation, which we will discuss in the next episode. So today, before we replace TextFormField with TextFormField widget, it would be nice to have a way to operate, to deal with all those fields at once. For example, to be able to validate them at once and to read the values from text fields, those text fields at once in a unified way. And in order to do that, in Flutter we can use a form widget, which is pretty similar to how HTML forms work. In HTML you have form tag and you wrap input tags, text fields inside this form tag. So this is pretty similar. So we could say Flutter mimics this approach. So let's jump to the code and let's change it to see what it really means. So I will wrap the whole form, which is this column, inside form widget. Nothing really happens in terms of how the screen of the display, but because we are creating this widget we are inserting the form into our tree right away, we don't have a way to reference it. And to solve that, we will specify the key parameter, and this way we will be able to reference the state of this form, which is the values of all those fields. In order to do that, I will define a variable key here, which is global key for form state. And now with that variable, I can reference the state of the form container. So now we are ready to replace TextFormField widget with TextForm widget. Let's just do TextForm. And we no longer have access to Unchanged here, but we have another method called Unsaved, which is pretty similar. Okay, let's repeat that here and here. Saved. So here I can replace, I can use the fat arrow again to make the code a little bit more compact. And the same here. So what's the difference between unsaved and unchanged? So unchanged was, the handler was invoked, the function was being invoked each time you changed the input, the text field. Unsaved will be invoked when a special event is being triggered. In this case, we need to explicitly save the form. And once we save the form, all the fields, all the handlers will be invoked. So the result will be the same, which is all the values from the form will be assigned to the respective fields. This special event is triggered by us, which means that here in onPressed function, we can now say, using the key we defined to reference the state, we just say current state, and there is a method called save. So we explicitly say that whenever someone clicks the button, save the form. So form as you see, allow us to operate on all those fields at once. So we can save the whole form, and in return, Flutter, behind the scenes, will invoke unsaved function for each field within that form. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole idea. So now, but I put it in the wrong place because it has to be here. So once it's saved, the variables here, which we are using, will be filled with the proper values. Okay, let's save it and let's test it if it works. Unsaved triggered. Hello world. This is new message. Okay. I clicked and the message appeared at the bottom. So it works. TextFormField widget not only allows us to define unsaved handler, but it also allows us to define a validator, which we will discuss in the next episode. Stay tuned.